Hi guys. Hey, I just thought I would come on here. I just got done with walking, so I'm all nice and sweaty and don't have my makeup on. But when I go walking, it brings up a lot of thoughts and gets me thinking a lot about life and things in general. And so I just thought I would share with you the things that I've learned the past 8 months. In 8 months, I didn't realize you could learn so much about yourself, especially when you're having to deal with hard times and struggles and trials and stuff. So over the past 8 months, from going back all the way to November 2017, our little girl was diagnosed with a rare autoimmune disease. And my husband and I would have to say it's one of the hardest trials that we have, one of the hardest trials, because we've gone through many since we've been married, that we've had to go through. And normally these types of things would break me and make me crumble and fall. And with us not knowing how to help her or what to do or how to get through it and stuff, it was very frustrating because I have always been a person that wants to fix things, that wants to make things better. I'm a very impatient person. And so I want it to change and be perfect. But in this world and everything, in reality, you have to learn patience on a daily basis. And so anyways, as we went through that, we were introduced to the business that I'm doing. I have learned how to step back in so many different ways, and I've learned how to deal with many things. So where I'm getting at with this is I've learned how to run my own business. This is something I never imagined or thought or dreamed of that I could do on my own, nor think that I was very hard on myself all growing up. And so just by my daughter getting sick and struggling and stuff, it invited new people into our world, people that have helped us and been there for us and introduced this type of business to me. Well, at first I was very, very skeptical because I am not one to be in sales or anything like that. It's not something that I like going to people and bugging people about or having to make the effort in talking to people because I was a huge, big-time introvert. I was one that liked to stay in my room, be by myself, and not be one to be in big groups or crowds because of my anxiety and my depression. So throughout this time, we've gained many, many blessings through just doing this business. Now, and I might be all over the place because I'm so excited to share this and there's so many things popping into my head, but I'm sitting in my craft room, and originally I had done this area to be for a craft room, something where I could have fun with, I guess, by myself or maybe a couple of the friends that I did have. But there was always this feeling that came to me that it would turn into a business. And so I always thought in my mind, well, maybe it's something that my husband will eventually do and I'll be the secretary of it, not realizing that I'd be owning my own business and that I'd be smart enough and I could be good enough at it and that I could do it, let alone gain the confidence about myself and about people that are working with me, people that are I guess you would call them my employees and stuff. And so throughout these 8 months, I have learned to grow confidence with myself. This craft room has become my business, my office, my work area, my safety zone, places where, I create things and I'm able to work hard at helping others. I had a friend the other day that made the comment, I've noticed whenever you do your lives or things like that some of the time you wear makeup and some of the time you don't. At first that kind of offended me because I was like, well, wait a second, why do I do that? But I realized it as I was walking today. Part of the things that I've learned with owning my own business is that I have gained enough confidence with myself that I feel comfortable in my own skin. Whether I have the makeup painted on my face or whether I don't. I love being able to wear it now both ways. And that was something that I have never been able to in the 32 years that I've been alive, have ever been able to accomplish with myself, of being able to feel like I I was beautiful and smart and confident. So throughout doing this business, I meet different people on a daily basis. Whereas before, being that person, the introvert, I didn't have those opportunities of realizing that there's all different types of personalities and issues and mental and health issues that people have until I started doing this business. And I've been able to develop lots of amazing relationships, but doing so, I have learned quite a few things. Now, not only have I gained confidence with myself, and I can do whatever I want, wear makeup or not wear makeup, and still feel amazing and great, knowing that that's not what defines my personality or my worth or who I am or how I can help people or if I'm smart or not. It has to do with inside. And so developing myself throughout this business, because I'm around other people and seeing, instead of thinking of myself, but helping other people, it's made it to where I care less about, pleasing people and helping people. I mean, throughout this business, I'm sure that I've offended people. And unfortunately, that wasn't my intention, and it's not something that I've wanted to do. But I'm sure that at church there's people that avoid me. I'm sure that there's people that avoid me on messages because they think that that's what I'm after. But instead of letting that get me down and letting that have me worry on a constant basis of what do I need to do, and oh, thanks, Emma, what do I need to do, and how do I need to do it in order to impress people, make people happy? That's not what it's about, you guys, because if you're happy with yourself, it's not going to matter if you're pleasing people or making people proud. Yes, it is important to be able to be kind to people and love people. So I've learned how to be patient with people. I've learned how to, thank you. I love your comments, guys. That helps me. I've been able to learn how to be patient with people. And like I said at the very beginning of this, patience has never been one of my great talents. And I know it's something I'm going to have to learn until I die. But this has really taught me how to be patient with people. It's also taught me how to be compassionate. That I can't judge people. And I didn't realize that I judged people. And I feel bad for saying that, but you know what? That's okay. It's a normal human being thing to judge. But here's the thing. As long as you see what you're doing, why you're judging, and stop it. And so I've also been able to learn how to do that through this business. So, when I have those down times and I feel frustrated at times, I'm thinking, okay, what type of things can I do better? Because the reason why I'm doing this business is because it saved my little girl's life. And I want to be able to pay it forward for other people out there. Not only that, but it has saved my life. And not to get emotional about it, but it is emotional for me. It cuts me to the core. When people talk about, I hate MLMs and they're just horrible and I've been screwed over. Well, guess what? I have too. Over and over and over again. I had people that just wanted to be my friend just so that I would buy things from them. And I'm not that type of person, but I'm not going to go out of my way to prove that. I am who I am, and I'm comfortable with it. I'm humble about it. I'm happy about it. I'm grateful for it. And I'm super grateful for the opportunity to be able to reach out to people. And if all that ends up happening, they don't end up doing the supplements, that's totally fine with me. I've gained friendships from it. I actually enjoy being around people now and feel safe and secure even when I'm around people that are prettier or maybe more successful or greater. That I'm learning not to have to feel like I have to compare myself to other people, because going to the extent of, I gotta go tanning, or I gotta bleach my teeth, or I've gotta have straight teeth, or no wrinkles, or I have to be thin, or I have to work this, and this hard in order to do A, B, and C just so I can be where everybody else is. You're wasting so much time thinking and feeling that way. And that is what this business has taught me. It's also taught me that it's okay to go to counseling and to be able to better myself and make myself a better person, and to be able to openly talk about it, that it's not an embarrassing thing to say, oh, I'm on depression medication, or I go to counseling, or my husband and I are going to marriage counseling. That has become such a common thing that so many people are embarrassed about and ashamed to talk about. But I never used to be a person that could just go live and be able to talk about these things. I remember the first time that my friend Nikki said, you should go live, you should introduce yourself to people and do it without makeup and be very real and raw. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Nobody has ever seen me without my makeup. Nobody has ever really seen who I am or how I am. There's no way I'll get judged and this, that, and the other. Now, I love doing lives. Why do I like doing them? Because it's an easier way to get out my expressions and for you to be able to see the real, happy, loving, amazing me. And for you to know that I'm not the salesperson that everybody thinks that all these sales things are. And I do it because I love it. I do it because there's a reason and there's a worth to these supplements and what I do. So I've gained patience. I've gained confidence. I've gained compassion. I've gained an understanding of where people are more coming from. Because when we do that, we are more on their level. It's like if we were all wearing the same color, it would make it hygiene. It would make it to where we were all the same. No race, no religion, no nothing would separate us. No gender, nothing would separate us from who we are. We probably wouldn't compare ourselves as much, but there are some of us, no matter what we do, we still do that. And it's all about changing our thoughts and our attitude towards things. We're never going to stop going through something hard. We're never going to stop struggling with things. But there's a way to get through these things. And through this business, I have learned how to do that. I have learned that I am worth being able to make money and not feel bad for it. And not feel bad for talking about it with people. Because there are so many people out there, probably a majority of us, that are struggling financially. And if I let my fear set in of talking to people about the financial part of this, then just think about how many people I wouldn't be helping because I'm letting my fear and my doubt of myself set in and worry of somebody judging, oh, they're going to be salesy or this, that, or the other. So when I am out there messaging you guys, it's genuine, it's loving, it's caring. I have a heart of gold that just wants to help. And if those people out there don't want it, that's totally fine. I'm comfortable with myself to know that there are people out there that do want the help, that do need the love, that do want that companionship. So I won't stop trying to do something that makes me happy. It's blessed us financially, okay? It's made us to be able to do things that we weren't able to do before. It's made it a lot easier on my husband. My husband does fine, he does great, and he works really hard, and he's out there busting his butt. But here's the thing, is I've always been a stay-at-home mom, and it was a little bit hard for him at first to see that I was bringing in an income too. And it kind of caused a little bit of friction because he's been the one that's been able to be the breadwinner. And here I am stepping kind of on his turf. So it's also taught us how to communicate with each other. It's taught me how to be more loving and understanding of where he's coming from and what our families go through and what our families sacrifice with us doing the business. I have put so many time, hours, and energy into the business, but guess what? It's worth it to me. And it's not always easy. It's sometimes super, super hard because you have such a passion towards something and you want to be able to share it with people. And not everybody believes or is skeptical about what it is that you're wanting to talk about and share. I've had to learn how to also be a balancing personality, okay? What I mean by that is I went from 14 years of being a stay-at-home mom where my kids got every single second and minute of my time and ounces of my energy and my attention. I've also gotten to the point where, it was, I would have to say, one of my hardest hurdles with my business, of owning my business, is to learn how to be able to say no to people and not worry about what they're going to say, how they're going to think, or if they're not, going to continue ordering or being there or whatever it is. And that's fine. You have to learn a balance. You have to learn how to be able to do the business and to be able to still have your own life, your family life, and know that your business will be there. It will pick up. You can, work hard without feeling guilty. But for a little bit, my family suffered a little bit. When you own your own business, it takes so much time at first, and energy, and sometimes a little bit of money to invest in the things that you need to keep your business going and everything. And so my family themselves had to learn a little lesson themselves, that mommy's not always going to be available, but these are the times that she's setting for business. And then this rest of this time is something that we get to have with her. So they've learned how to, I feel, appreciate me more. Instead of always expecting and knowing that mommy's always going to be there and she's going to jump when we say jump. And my husband's learned how to appreciate me more too, because I used to just cling onto his side and be like, I'm insecure, help me to feel better about myself, help me to be happy, and it's all on you. That's where my happiness comes from. And I've learned how to develop happiness on my own and not have to rely on others or items or things to make me happy and to be able to help me do or maintain or succeed the way I want to maintain or succeed. And so my husband, has been able to gain confidence in himself that this is something that Lisa loves to do. This is something that makes her happy. And so I will continue doing my own thing. And it doesn't step on my toes of being the breadwinner, because I continue to let him know that he's amazing and he's doing a good job. I continue to let my kids know that they'll always have their mommy. They can always come to me. And now here is the amazing thing about my business, okay? I can choose my hours. I can choose the time, how long, how short I do it. I can choose how much money I put into it or how less of money I don't put into it. I can choose who I talk to and who I don't talk to, who I work with, who I don't have to work with. If I want to be able to take a week off, I could take a week off. But I also know that without consistency, at least every single day, that nothing in life without consistency, determination, and perseveration, you're not going to get anywhere. So if I want to be at a certain place, by learning how now to set goals and expectations of myself, I can be wherever it is I want to be. I've also learned throughout this business self-development. I used to laugh when people would talk about self-development books. I thought, yeah, okay, I don't feel good and great about myself, but I'm not a reader. I don't need to listen or hear these things, so I'm not going to do it. I'll just figure it out on my own. Well, guess what, guys? That's pride. And I've learned how to let that pride go. Not completely, because I'm not a perfect person, neither is any of us here on this earth. But it's about trying. You will never fail at anything in life, unless you give up, unless you stop trying completely. There's no possible way of failing unless you're done. And that's depressing, because we don't need to fail. So I've started a book club with my business, and it's been super amazing to be able to hear and feel and see the different feelings that my good friends I've become great friends with my business has felt and thought. The book that we're reading right now that you guys could join on yourself, it's called The Secret. And it talks about the law of attraction. It talks about your thoughts become your actions, whether it's negative or positive. And so it's hard. It's not an easy thing. It's an easy read, but it's not something that just comes to you easily. It's something you have to practice on a daily basis, just like everything else in life. You have to practice and try hard to wake up every morning. Those Mondays that everybody dreads and hates because it's the beginning of another long week of work. Think about what you can do better with your job. Think about what you can do better with people. Think about how you can change the feelings or thoughts that you feel about yourself, and realize that it's not about changing your appearance, changing your weight, changing, it's about how you treat people, how you act with people, and how you are with yourself. We are the worst critics, guys, of ourselves. We are so flippin' hard on ourselves. You can see those gorgeous, amazing models out there, but in reality, what are they like off the camera? What are they like without their makeup? What are they like without their groups of people around them? How are they feeling inside? So learning how to be comfortable with yourself, not compare yourself, not judge other people because of what you see on the outer appearance. A lot of people just show on Facebook and Instagram what they want you to see. But at home, they're deep down inside dying and hurting inside. I've been able with this business to be able to actually see the raw true self of a lot of people. And the only time that they allow you to see that is when they trust you. So me building people's trust is by me being me. Not trying to prove anything, not trying to be anything or be anywhere, or having to work my butt off to where it absolutely tires me on being something I'm not. It's being who I am. I'm comfortable with who I am and not having that waver. Now there are going to be times where I don't believe that every day. I might have a super, super hard day, but just like in the book of The Secret, it's about, you may stub your toe starting in the very beginning of your morning and going, oh, that could just ruin my day, and the rest of my day is going to be absolutely hard and horrible. Or you can be like, frig, that flippin' hurt. Oh, what type of shoe can I wear so it won't hurt as bad? Because I'm going to have an awesome day despite of what just happened. I'm the people that piss you off on the road, you just think in your mind, they must have somewhere really important that they have to go. Maybe I need to slow down a little bit. But here's another thing. Do not shrink to make others out there feel better about themselves. You do not have to be less or a smaller person in order for the people around you. If you're around people like that, get away from people like that. Here's another thing I've learned. I've learned how to create boundaries and set limitations on what I give people. Okay, now that might sound bad, but what I mean by that is there's different type of people out there that are toxic, yucky people out there. I used to let all sorts of people in, even the toxic, yucky ones that only made you feel negative, that only made you feel bad about yourself. And I thought that I'll just help them, I'll just change them, I'll make it better. But you know what? There are people that you can help, but you can't change somebody. They have to be able to be the ones to change themselves. So I've learned I will give what I have to give, but if they are not willing to accept or they're trying to take too much from me, that's where I draw the line. And I don't let myself feel guilty for that, because having boundaries is super, super healthy and super, super important. Now that's with friendships, with marriages, with business partners, with any type of relationship out there. Now here's the main key thing that I feel has helped me to be super successful with my business. The number one key thing is communication. I've learned that super, super big in my counseling with my husband. But here's the thing. You have a relationship in everything that you do. Whether it's with things, whether it's with people, whether it's with your actions, whatever it is. And with that relationship and anything that you do, it's important to have communication. Because if you don't, expectations happen that aren't always healthy or real expectations, and that can make relationships suffer from that. Their judgment can set in because there's no communication. Less compassion when there's no communication. Not being understanding or caring when there's not communication. You're less empathetic or sympathetic when there's no communication. So in basic reality, if you need your kids to do something one day and they don't listen, you don't communicate with them, there's no eye-to-eye contact, there's no real trying of making sure that they hear and understand how you're feeling, then you can't be upset if those things don't happen. Communication, like Emma says, it is the key. It's so huge. My husband went throughout life not learning how to communicate. And here's what the hard thing was. I was the opposite. I went through some huge trauma things in my life. So my parents put me into counseling my whole entire life because I had some major things happen. The main thing that those counselors always taught me was you need and have to communicate. And if I didn't, then my parents were like, okay, Lisa, you're not going to be able to, do or be able to accomplish like you're wanting to if you don't communicate. So then I get married, guys, and my marriage isn't going the way I was wanting to at first. Here, this Sunday, we will have been married 14 years. That's a long time. And up until, I want to say, the last year is when we started to learn how to communicate. 13 years of not knowing how to communicate. Do you realize how flippin' hard that is? Do you realize how hard it is not to have communication in your own business? It's super hard. Thanks, Emma. So my husband's had to learn that. It's like for a baby learning how to walk, because it's frustrating and it's hard. But anyways, going back to the things I've learned about this business. As you can see, the reason why I keep doing it is because I've earned so many amazing things. And I'm not just talking. I've learned how to be a better person because of choice. Everything in my business is all a bunch of choices. I get to choose whatever it is I want. I get to choose the amount that I make. I get to choose the amount of work I put into it and the amount of time I put into it, or the least amount of time. There's days if I want to be able to play, I can go out and play. If I only want to work an hour a day and be able to still make what I want to make, then I have to choose what I put into that hour. Working smarter, not harder. And so I will end on this, you guys. This has been amazing 8 months. It doesn't mean that I've had it perfect, doesn't mean that I'm rich, doesn't mean that I have everything that I've ever wanted, but it's helped me to focus in on what's the most important. It's not all the jewelry, not all the money in the world, it's not millions of friends, it's not the biggest house, the nicest car. All of those are things and items that don't mean anything to me. I value my friendship more, I value my family more, and most of all, I value myself. Now, if anything the only thing I ever gained from doing this business was valuing myself, that's worth $1 million to myself, because it doesn't just tap into doing great at a business, it taps into doing great at family life, friendship life, religion life, being the smart life, whatever it is, it taps into all of it. So this business you can now look at as being a major, successful, happy, wonderful thing to my family. And that is my why. That is why I continue to do it on a daily basis. So I just thought I'd give you a lot of food for thought today. And if anything, hopefully that helps you to be able to see and experience things different in your life, no matter where it is in your life that you're at. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for watching and being a part of my live.